April 19th, 2008. A quiet little town in Austria, Amstetten, appears on the front pages of newspapers around the world. The reason chilling. A father kept his daughter prisoner for 24 long years, hidden beneath his house, in a bunker built just for her. This is the story, or rather, the nightmare, of Josef Fritzl. But let's start from the beginning. Josef was born on April 9th, 1935, the only son of a mother, Maria, who conceived him only to silence the gossip that she was sterile. But Maria was unstable, furious. She beat her son, humiliated him, locked him out in the cold, tied him up for days, and kept telling him he would never amount to anything. At 9 years old, Josef was left alone. Maria was sent to a Nazi camp for refusing to surrender her house. He ended up in an orphanage, where he was abused for 3 years. After the war, he returned to Maria, but the violence resumed, worse than before. Only at 17 did he find the courage to fight back. He hit her, and from then on, he was the one who locked her in the attic for years. Maria was his first prisoner, but she wouldn't be the last. At 20, Josef left home and moved to Linz. There he met Rosemarie, who was just 16. They married, and in 1956 returned to Amstetten. They would have 7 children. On the outside, they seemed like a normal family. He was an engineer, she a housewife, well-behaved children. But behind that facade lay darkness. Josef was authoritarian, violent. He disappeared for long stretches and was known to visit questionable places. In 1967, he was arrested for stalking a nurse, breaking into her home and assaulting her. Sentenced to 18 months, he came home as if nothing had happened. Meanwhile, he bought properties, renovated an old hotel, and started digging a mysterious bunker beneath his house. When neighbors asked, he replied, "It's a nuclear shelter." No one dared question him. Elizabeth, the 7th child, was born in 1966. Shy and fragile, she soon became the center of her father's troubling behavior. She endured life at home until, at 17, she decided to run away. But she was found and brought back. She dreamed of leaving forever to live with her sister, but Josef refused to let her go. On August 28, 1984, he asked her to help him install the final door of the basement bunker. Unaware of what was about to happen, Elizabeth followed him down. There he trapped her and left her unable to leave. From that moment on, she was his captive. The bunker was a nightmare, damp without natural light, with just a bed, a small bathroom, and heavy, stale air. Every day, Josef came down, bringing her food and making sure she stayed. To the family, he claimed Elizabeth had gone away to join a group and made her write a letter to confirm his story. Over time, he no longer even locked her up, knowing she could not escape. In 1988, Kirsten was born, followed by Stefan, Lisa, Monica, Alexander, and Felix. 3 of the children were brought upstairs and given to his wife, Rosemarie, as if Elizabeth had sent them from her supposed group. The others stayed with her, hidden in the bunker. Despite everything, Elizabeth did all she could to care for her children. She taught them to read and write, and told them the world outside was different, and that someday they would be free. In 2002, the last child, Felix, was born. After nearly 20 years of captivity, in 2008, something changed. Kirsten became very ill with a high fever. Elizabeth pleaded with her father to take Kirsten to the hospital. At last he agreed, but on one condition. Afterward, they would all return to the bunker. April 19th, 2008. Josef brought Kirsten to the emergency room. The doctors, shocked by her condition, didn't believe the cult story and called the police. When he realized the act was over, Josef brought Elizabeth and the 2 remaining children upstairs into the sunlight for the first time in 24 years. At first, Elizabeth tried to maintain her father's lie, but she broke down when detectives told her they would take her children away if she didn't tell the truth. Then she revealed everything. 24 years of captivity, abuse, violence, children born and raised in a cellar. The police descended into the bunker and found a hell. Mold, suffocating air, blackened walls. Officers wore suits and masks just to endure it. It was hard to believe anyone could have lived in such conditions for so long. Rosemarie, the wife, claimed she never knew anything. Maybe it was true, maybe not. Some tenants had heard strange noises, but Josef dismissed them, saying, "It's just the pipes." And they believed him. During questioning, Josef showed no remorse. He said, "If I were a monster, I would have killed them. Instead, I saved them." And when told that Kirsten would have died without care, he even boasted of having taken her to the hospital. He also claimed the relationship with Elizabeth was consensual. In March 2009, the trial began. Josef pleaded not guilty, insisting he acted to protect her and save her. But the court didn't believe him. He was found guilty of every charge: kidnapping, incest, rape, enslavement, negligent homicide, sentenced to life. Today, Josef Fritzl is still in prison. He's now over 80 and often complains about rotting away in jail. No one feels sorry for him. And Elizabeth? After her release, her life was not easy. She had to learn to live again, to rebuild herself, to cope with the trauma no one can fully comprehend. Her children also underwent long therapy, especially those raised in the bunker, for whom the outside world was only something they'd seen on TV. Today, Elizabeth lives under a new identity in a secret place. Married, with a family who loves her and a community that protects her. But there are wounds that even time cannot heal. It's hard to imagine the courage it must have taken to survive, and then to speak out. But thanks to her strength, the monster was stopped. And by telling her story, we remember that evil sometimes hides right next door. If this story struck you, let me know in the comments. It's important not to forget these events, and above all, not to forget the victims. Thank you for staying with me until the end. See you in the next video.